again today, friends. We are going deep into all of my large family freezers. We are going to do some freezer reorganization, some decluttering, clean out these refrigerators. I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 old refrigerators and I have 5 full freezers. Let me give you a tour around and we'll see what's happening in all this first. And there's definitely times when these refrigerators are full and these freezers are full and things are busting at the seams. Definitely when I take advantage of local harvest time deals and we're doing other food projects, there's times where all of these are pushed to the max. And I also have my freeze dryer going here, so we're gonna have that noise hanging out with us for extra fun too. And I have a whole history of the origin story. Every single refrigerator that I have, every single freezer. I did not get 5 full freezers and 4 extra refrigerators overnight. I've been married almost 25 years. I've had a lot of time to collect stuff. And of course, as a mom of 9, we're a family of 11, and our family continues to grow and expand and all those fun, exciting life details. And we work from home and school from home, run a business from home, all of that. So it's all the meals here all the time for the most part. My oldest son has been married for several years, and as I like to say, he's a dad now, all of those great things. So he's not at home, of course, but I do still have 8 children at home, ages almost 2 through 19, plus myself, my husband, and my mama. So that still puts 11 people all day, every day in this household. And then of course, when we have other folks over, we can easily be feeding 13, 14, 15, sometimes 18, sometimes 20, just depends on who's coming over that day. So without further ado, these are the newest additions. These 2 full freezers we added in this fall 20, what year is it? Well, 2022, because it's 2023 now when I'm filming this. We'll get into those. And if you've been around here a while, you know this is a brand new refrigerator from my first house, probably 22 or so years ago. It's a GE. It's still kicking, ticking. It's still doing its job. So for many years, that was in fact my second refrigerator once we moved to a different location, and it has been good to us. I promise you the origin stories of everything. Let's have our tour. So in this refrigerator, look at this. We got nothing. This is actually very rare, but that's just what's in it. Gets like that sometimes. And then the freezer is a hodgepodge. Now remember, today we are organizing these freezers. I have had many times where my freezers are highly organized and many times where they are not. Hello, welcome to life, right? This freezer, I went through and organized my freezer meal freezer the other day. I do still have actually 1 freezer meal in here I need to move over, and then you'll see odds and ends, various popsicles, peas, different items. So, but again, we're gonna pull this together. I wanted to show you the before. Okay, now this one, maybe I should tell you the origin story as we get to each one. Let's do that. Okay, we'll come back to this one. So, well, we'll just pick one. This was my first ever brand new full-size freezer that I got probably 2016-ish. I believe I got it when I was pregnant with Benjamin. He's gonna be 6 here before we know it. First one I ever got at the Forest House. Before that wonderful, I just love it so much, 22 cubic foot freezer, I had about a half-size freezer that I got from my neighbor's garage sale for $75 back at my farmhouse, and I got almost 2 years out of that one, but that was my first like dedicated freezer. Then in about 2018, as I continued to do more freezer meals for my family, more freezer meal videos, developing my big batch freezer meal packs and all of those good things, I added a second full-on freezer. You see the handle fell off. I think it's on top over there somewhere. Anyway, that way I could have a freezer dedicated to all of my freezer meals, and then I could have a freezer with all of our other freezer needs, freezer components. I also had this full refrigerator, and then a little later at the Forest House I added in this second backup refrigerator. So if you go back and watch those videos at like the height of the appliances at the Forest House in the garage, I had 2 freezers, I had this refrigerator, and then I had that refrigerator. So two refrigerators and these 2 freezers. And so then back here in this one, the biggest thing I have in here right now, I have a lot of bags of beef bones from the full cow that we bought. We'll get to the beef freezer situation, but again, lots of beef bones. We got some little steak sandwiches in there, some sausage. We will go through the items as we organize all of this and as we pull it all back together in an organized fashion. I just want to give you a real honest look. You know, we've eaten down a lot. I had 2 other families I gave some extra meals to yesterday, and some freezer odds and ends that I had. It's been picked through, so it's time to just, you know, pull it together. Like there's the turkey neck bones from Thanksgiving, so we can do some turkey neck gravy or some broth. Now, this refrigerator was my brand new refrigerator that we bought for this house in 2020. Our movers fell apart. We weren't expecting to get new appliances when we came into this house, but after, you know, the whole mover fiasco, and you can go back and watch that video too, I was like, okay, I need a new refrigerator here because my other refrigerator went with the Forest house. Anyway, so this was it. And now I have 2 sets of local friends who both at different times this fall wanted this refrigerator. They both measured their kitchens. My first friend said she definitely wanted it. I was holding it for her, but whenever she got measuring her kitchen space, she just couldn't make it work. And then another friend said, that's great, because I'll take it. So I held it for her. She has some built-in cabinetry around where her refrigerator goes, and it turns out it wouldn't fit it for her either. By that point, I was neck deep in those good harvest time deals and all the produce that I was spinning and working through and trying to get in the freezers and do all the things. So I went ahead and continued to use this refrigerator down here, and when things got really bursting at the seams, it was very helpful. Now, up until recent weeks when we did all those tomatoes, this whole freezer was full of those tomatoes as well. And then in here, you can see, again, just needs cleaned out. 2 big things of provolone. Need to have Travis process some of that cheese. That's a tomato that just, I guess, somehow spilled in this refrigerator when we were digging out all the tomatoes. But you see, definitely needs cleaned out. We got a big grocery haul happening and such too. And then over here, so again, this was my, you know, married to a car guy, another refrigerator I got at the Forest house. Again, probably we'll say 2019-ish. Odds and ends in the freezer. I've used this as a bread freezer, but we have some cranberries and some cauliflower and some things that have just been thrown in there, so we're gonna pull that together. And then in this refrigerator, we have 2 more things. We've got 90 store-bought eggs there. Our chickens are starting to lay more and more each day. Almond milk. A lot of times milk and things go in this refrigerator. And now this refrigerator came with this house that we bought in 2020 before the whole world changed. And so it's been more of like a drink refrigerator. You can see I have some lunch meat deals up here. I want to, you know, I need to pull things back together. I've definitely had at times when I get everything organized just right, a dedicated fruit area in my freezer and dedicated vegetable freezer and all of those good things, but we'll do that today. And then a mess, the drink refrigerator, but we've had some drinks explode. It doesn't hold the temperature perfectly for anything outside of keeping beverages cold. We just have to have it not freeze them. So anyway, we'll get that cleaned up today too. And then this is what I'm calling my freeze dryer freezer. Of course, I have 2 freezer meals in there that we have to move to the freezer meal freezer now that we're getting going with that organization again. But whenever I first got my freeze dryer and we got juggling like a lot of pans that were pre-freezing and everything, it's like, okay, I need a freezer to help me manage all of this as well. But I ended up putting a lot of those freezer tomatoes and other produce that I've been working through in there too. And so the plan was that this was going to be our dedicated beef freezer and this our dedicated pork freezer. I have been showing you this freezer. This is now, at this moment, a freezer meal freezer. So we've been working through these meals. I mean, they've been running through those quickly. I'm going to do a breakfast casserole for tomorrow. Anyway, this has been working through, work in progress. I have a few more freezer meals I can put in here. So it's not just breakfast or just dinners, it is breakfast meals and some dinner freezer meals. If I can get back in a good freezer cooking routine, which is what I've been working towards here, I should be able to get back to the point where I can have a dedicated breakfast freezer meal freezer and a dedicated dinners freezer meal freezer, and then a dedicated like lunch and bread and like cookies for the freezer and all of those good things, but we've got to work on that. And then this freezer, okay, you will see I still have, we haven't got to it yet, different fruit I had bought from Azure that we were going to do different jellies with. We did work through the boxes of the organic hash browns I had. We have some mixed vegetables, but the blueberries, the blackberries, and the strawberries, I hope to do some jam soon. And then these are the different pork cuts that we have left. We did can a lot of the sausage. I do still have some roast, and I have some, let's see here. I'm all mixed up now. My beef is in here. Not all of it, some of it. Then we have our pork fat. So another crisscross applesauce reasoning in why we added these two full-size freezers here this fall is in 2020, when freezers were not available, could not find them, it was our first year raising our own chicken meat. I've been raising hens as far as eggs for going on 15 years now. However, it was our first year doing meat birds and doing our own butchering, and we did, I don't remember now if it was 75 or 100, but it was well over 500 pounds of meat. And really in 2020, we needed another full-size 22 cubic foot freezer because the two white freezers that I had at the time over there were full of other things that I was freezing. So in 2020, what I was able to do is find 3 7 cubic feet freezers, which is about 21 cubic square feet, and in those we were able to keep our processed chicken meat. And we still have those freezers on the other side of our basement. Now they're the chest freezers. I prefer this upright freezer, and what my plan was, once we got these additional freezers in fall 2022, is I would pull through whatever had found a home in those smaller freezers over the last couple years, which at this point was some more chickens that we had processed 3 years later this fall. Also, a lot of the beef that was in this beef freezer, again, I know it gets confusing if you watch me in all of my food spinning attempts. So as of 2 weeks ago, when I did the video and got all the freezer meals in this freezer, I had not yet processed the 380 pounds of tomatoes. And I also had not yet processed a lot of the meat that was in this freezer. So I had my happy helper teens pull a lot of the beef, get it in another freezer over there, just out of this area, so I could film and get these freezer meals put away. But anyway, today is the day of reckoning. We are now going to condense anything that's in those freezers over here in these freezers. And I already have a home for those 3 7 cubic feet freezers. I have 3 different families that those are going to. But with the space that we have in this area in our basement, those particular chest freezers were not going to work over here. And in that area where the chest freezers are currently located, that is going to be where our new laundry room is going. So that is part of why I've been needing to do this project, to clean those out, get them over here, assess what needs to be canned, made into freezer meals, what else needs to be processed, and move along. Okay, so here are these 3 freezers. Like I say, I already have homes for those, but in 2020, this helped me get my other full-size freezer space that I needed for all of the chickens we're processing that first year. And so anyway, just showing you what is in here. So, you know, it's not even totally full. I have some cornmeal. I have some like Ezekiel bread hot dog buns. I have some various vegetables. At one point, I had this organized as a nice dedicated vegetable freezer. And then in this one, not even, okay, so, yeah, tomatoes. And then while we're at it, more tomatoes. Now this is not deep in tomatoes, but yes, after all of our tomato processing, they had told me they brought up all the tomatoes, but I found some more. So I don't know, this might end up being maybe 50 or so pounds of tomatoes. I also have some grapes, some of the peppers that we had frozen. I think my apple peels and such are in this freezer too. Okay, and then, but wait, there's more. This is an old chest freezer that a friend was getting rid of. So again, before I got my 3 new full-size freezers that I showed you over in what I want to be my freezer area, these freezers over here were helping me. Anyway, this is probably 3/4 of the way full of beef, and then there are some what I call emergency freezer meals down at the bottom of this. Those emergency freezer meals are it's just different odds and ends. Like when I found myself in the hospital in May 2022, and again I was in the hospital January 2021, and then I had a surgery August 2021. I did make freezer meals, but definitely during some of those unexpected times, it was like me put it in Walmart order for, I don't know, chicken lasagna or whatever they had. So there are a handful of those meals down here too. But as I say, the freezer scramble, it's all okay because I got my 3 new full-size freezers that I wanted to process all this in. And then these 3 have a home. This one, I have someone that I think would want it, and I'll pass it on to her because like this whole area here is going to become our full-size laundry room. While we do this freezer spin, I'm just gonna take these items, shove them in here, get this organized as a beef freezer for this time. See, lots of freezer spinning is gonna go on for now. So I'm just going to, for this time, for the moment at least, I'm gonna leave the popsicles in here. I will probably make one of my little top freezers like our popsicle freezer again. And remember, during the whole almost year that it took to do my new Mega Mama kitchen, a lot of my freezers and such were on the front porch because I didn't have the vision yet for what I was doing down here. I try to hold it together, folks. This is the best I can figure out. So anyway, I'm gonna start loading this. This is a freezer meal. It's a soup that I'm gonna put in freezer meal freezer. All of the beef out of this freezer. I do see I got some fish in here, some frozen vegetables, frozen fruit. I got a lasagna. Again, we're pulling this. I got some more chickens in here. So that one freezer will most likely not truly be a dedicated beef freezer. I'm probably going to end up with beef and chicken in there, which is fine. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna work on real quick while I'm over here getting the rest of the beef bones in here for broth. I do have a helper now. Hey, sweetie, take this basket over. I'm gonna tell him what we've been doing. Take this over, you know, all those beef cuts. Just basically, if it's from the cow, put it in here, bring it over, and then I'll get it in this freezer. Mama takes all the help she can get. Like I say, it's a lot of bags of beef bones. Okay, so we're making some progress with this one. Whoops, no, come on now. We will get to you, little stir-fry packs. Okay. And then over here, okay, so far this shelf is all bones, And this shelf, I mean, there's still, we can put other things here, and there's just one pack, but close to 2 shelves full of beef bones. Different roast and ribs and cuts in here. Same thing with this one. I think I remember in this pork freezer that it was organized and then it was not. There's some beef cuts in here too. Hey, sweetie, bring that basket over to me and I'm gonna put more beef cuts in it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yay. And they don't have to be kept separate. I just, you know, this is me trying to organize it and stay on top of it. Yeah, I had lots of the steaks are in here. And we might end up throw that basket in. This came from a few weeks ago when I was processing beef stew meat, and I was also processing different pork cuts. And so we were just pulling what I would need from in here and going through it that way. And then we got those breakfast freezer meals done. See, that's kebab meat. I would have canned that. That's okay. And the name of the farm on here is just, I believe, where they had it processed. It's not the farm that raised the cow that we bought it from locally. Okay, and I think this is all pork. No, it's another beef. Lots of hams. Okay. Future projects we will get to. So now we got another laundry basket full. Nope, a few more cuts up. Back to what we're doing with that. Now this should be the last of the beef. We do have a helper wiping out one of the fridges for me. For us, I should say. Okay. Probably get a basket. Let me get a basket. Alright, here we go. At least for the moment, this is all the beef from the full cow that we bought that is left. We still, obviously, we have room in here on the shelves, and we'll see how the day progresses as to how this will all be organized. Okay, and then with at least this one freezer meal that I had, I'm going to put this in here. Yay. Okay. Alright, oh, we still got the oxtail in there. Again, we have some more chickens in here. Okay. Okay, wait. There was more once I got in there. Now the next basket has more of a variety of freezer stuff, but we will definitely be full. We will have a full freezer. I was wrong. Meantime, we got this refrigerator cleaned out. Things are just behind me on the counter, and we're gonna start putting it back in. And this one is wiped out. Tomato evidence is gone. Okay, and here's a lasagna from December that I'm gonna put in here. Still finding a few more cow pieces here. A lot of random meat. Still see some more cow. Okay. Like just one single 10-ounce pack of bacon from Butcher Box that was left. And then I did a video for them. I did more chickens in here though. More beef. What I want to do is gather up the rest of the chicken that I have left from our homegrown chicken and do broth and also canned chicken. Same thing of stir fry keeps jumping out. Okay. Now there's a nice big basket that is meant to go at the bottom of these freezers, and whenever they set them up, just one of my family members took the basket out to put the box of tomatoes in at the bottom. However, I like the basket, so we're gonna put this basket in here, and that'll also help hold some different meat in this freezer. And actually, wish I could hear y'all through the screen and think through the best way to do this. I might turn this back into for the first time a fruit and veggie freezer. Like as far as like fruit that I'm gonna process, fruit that the kids need to pull for smoothies. Which means I would take a lot of this pork out. I think we can do it. And I remembered I had a cabbage lasagna, my last one, and a taco macaroni. Need to put the freezer. So that's the start of organizing a fruit and veggie fridge. We've got more. We'll probably have that full once I pull everything into it. Usually freeze bananas with the skins on, but I think what happened here is I had just said to someone who lives in this house, hey someone, just throw those bananas in a bag for me and throw them in the freezer, and they just literally threw them in the bag. They can still be used just fine. I would need to defrost them, then peel them, and then we can use them from there, make them a little banana stash and some other fruit. Okay, so it may all seem hopeless sometimes, and then it starts to come together. So we have pulled all the fruits and vegetables from the different freezers, and we now, yet again, drum roll please, round of applause, we now have a dedicated fruit and veggie freezer. Yay! And then we also got done getting bread up here in this freezer, and then ice packs. You know, mom with back and neck stuff always needs some ice packs. And then we have our Ezekiel bread and English muffins. And then here we have pretty much a beef freezer. It's a shame. Well, Travis might be able to make me something for there, but this is just where some popsicle boxes or something had stuck. We're missing that holder, but we have beef, you know, lots of beef bones, beef, various roast cuts and steaks and such. And then here we have, so this is chicken, and like I have some ham bones and some turkey necks and such on this shelf. I want to process and do some projects with this meat here coming up, but we have from the whole hog we bought, we have some hams there. I have 3 packs of Costco pork chops I want to do something with soon. I actually cooked the other bag of this up this morning and added it to breakfast. So we'll get to that. The kids all liked that. We have a whole bin of various fish down there. There's some fat from the pork and some more hams. And here I have 2 other pork roast, again from Costco, and then some ground turkey that I'm still using up. I used a bunch of that in freezer meals a few weekends ago. And then we have bacon and some different, we got these at Sharp Shopper not too long ago, like chicken sausage and stuff. And then we have salmon burgers. So various meats freezer. Okay, found some more fruit and veggies. I have my adult son who is graduated but hasn't moved out on his own yet, but again, lots of planning and great stuff happening. He has things that he buys for his reasons, and if possible, I would like to give him that little freezer over here. I'll show you in a minute, but that would be nice for him because he has things, again, for his own purposes, and he labels them, but it just might be even nicer if he could have his own little freezer. Okay, so I'm trying to fit this mango in here. Will you stay there, mango? Probably not. Oh, well, okay. I could technically move these 2 boxes of mixed vegetables. Okay, we've brought peace to the world yet again. All right. Okay, so taking it from the top, we have ice and a towel and mess in here, but this I'll have to talk to Travis about when I actually unplug it. I'm gonna run that by him first. But empty, okay, empty, empty, and empty. And again, this space here in this area is going to now become our full laundry room. I wish I could do a transition, be like, snap my fingers and it's done. But again, I'm going to talk to Travis. Obviously, these have to be unplugged and cleaned out. And then again, these 3 I have homes for. This one, I have a farmer friend who might be interested in it. So we're going to clear this space out for the laundry room though. Yay. And again, let's review. The whole point of this freezer and those 2 over there was to replace my freezers that I had on the other side of this basement. And even though I got these 3 new freezers this fall. It took me now until, well, I'm filming this end of February to get this done between, again, repeat it with me, my back sprain, then Travis and I were in a car accident that totaled our van. That was interesting. And then we had other very close family members who were in a horrific car accident in December, and that was December. So again, here we are. I know this video will be whatever the time it's going to be, but I think I've worked on this 3 or 4 hours with lots of helpers in and out. So now I will give you the grand finale tour after all that work of my large family freezer organization. Okay, so here's how the space is looking. And so again, I have this one for my adult son that still lives at home while he's doing all of his great grown-up things. And that freezer will be for him. This one, I mean, still drink messes. Well, my helpers did wipe it out some. I'll do a mama wipe down. They asked if they had to like unload everything, and I said no, just kind of spot wipe around it. But I see, like, they got a lot, but mama's needed. Okay. Well, I guess I'm giving you a refrigerator tour too. Okay, so in here we have our almond milk, coffee creamer, half and half, the eggs, the juice, the cheese, but I have a whole grocery haul coming. So again, don't worry about this. Also, it's important for me to have some extra refrigerator room for whenever I'm spinning my big batch cooking and food processing and stuff too. Then up here, we have some various lunch meats and then these already made freezer meals that I bought. So we'll still work through this. I mean, I don't know. I might have had this Stouffer's lasagna 1.5 years or almost 2 years in my freezer, but that's okay. We'll still work through this or bless other families with it as the needs arise. I did have a kiddo make us a popsicle freezer, so that is nice. Got rid of all the boxes. These are great when you're canning and it's like 2 or 3 in the morning. I don't know that these ice packs are going to live in here. We don't always need like this large size, but for now, while I don't have anything else in there, that's fine. In this refrigerator, we have random condiments. Nothing else is in here, so it is ready for yogurt deals. Then over here, I found the arm. The arm for this freezer is there. So this has a lot of pork and a lot of chicken, a lot of like our homegrown chicken and turkeys that are left there. Again, this whole shelf, heavy processing between these 2 shelves and that shelf there, and some things stuck up there. Basically, I want to do a lot of canning, broth, and then canned meat with that. But here we've got some different sausages in the door. I found these pork sausage rolls that I need to use too. This freezer, now my hopes and dreams too is I will be using a lot of this meat to make more freezer meals as well. That is what I did for all the freezer meals in this freezer. I shopped my grocery store in my basement, right? I shopped what I had on hand already, and then to do a lot of these meals, it ended up being about $380 or so with what I still needed to get at Walmart, and that was in the video where I did the 64 meals. So that is good. And so as I, again, 2, 3 shelves, 3.5 shelves worth of things that I want to process in the coming months, then this is going to give us the shelf space back for more freezer meals that are ready to go. And then over here, we have mainly, 99% the beef freezer. I do have a few random convenience items. Like there'll be times I'll have, 6 bags of meatballs and I am not ashamed. But mostly beef, a lot in here, like all the bones I want to process into broth. Of course, we do have lots of steaks and roast and cuts like that available also. And then in here, we have nothing in here. And then we have all kinds of bread products in this freezer. And then my neck or my back are hurting. These are the ice packs that I really like. And then over here, open. Okay, so then this is the now dedicated fruit and veggie refrigerator, smoothie shelves, steamed vegetables for dinner. So many times if I pull a freezer meal or 2 out of here for dinner, then I grab vegetables that we do as a side item. We do a lot of broccoli, and so now everything will be in here. And then over here in this freezer, we have just how it should be, things that I still need to get to processing. So these are the tomatoes. Again, I thought we had gotten all the tomatoes. I didn't actually come down here to get them. So I sent my people who look like me to get them, and that's okay. We have more, but guess what? We have more tomato projects coming up. So we will just use these tomatoes, see if we can make some homemade ketchup and some good things like that. We have more of the frozen peppers that we processed last fall, but again, when I get into big cooking, I can just defrost a bag of that and use that in various recipes. I have a lot of grapes. I was hoping to do a grape juice. And then I have a lot of maybe 4 or 5 bags of the apple peels. So I was hoping to do like some apple juice and apple cider with that. More ice packs. Let's move those. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and doing this project that, again, I've needed to do this since these freezers were delivered this fall. It's also been helpful that over the last several weeks, you and I have been going through. We processed a bunch of beef. We processed quite a bit of pork. We did hundreds of pounds of tomatoes. We have been working through it. So again, I'm proud of us. We will continue to work through these projects. Thank you so much for projecting with me. Also coming up real soon, I'm going to give you an updated tour of my pantry room, which is all my hopes and dreams. Whenever we bought this house in 2020, again, we did not know a few weeks later all that was going down. I never planned to have a pantry room, but since we were here and the world was going nuts and I was able to do some hopes and dreams projects, I was like, oh, this basement has a whole other room and we can put shelves in and I can work on one of the books that I read in 2020, and actually the author has become one of my good friends, Karen Morris. She wrote the book A Year Without the Grocery Store. I read that in 2020 and it really helped my goals in what I wanted for my family and what I wanted for my family food rotation wise and food storage wise. So I read A Year Without the Grocery Store and I shared it with you all in 2020, and from reading that book and my own experiences over the last several years, it has helped me accomplish the goal to set up my own grocery store in my basement and to also rotate my food storage, and it has just been super helpful. The freezers and my freezer storage have been in development for well over a decade. Again, remember, because I talk to different mamas, please don't be overwhelmed. The fact that I have 5 freezers and you're like, wait a minute, I want to do freezer meals, or I want to buy a quarter of a cow or a whole cow, and think that you have to have 5 freezers to start. I started with a crop of little kids and a $75 freezer, and I did have 2 refrigerators. My main kitchen refrigerator, and then this refrigerator. If you go back and watch my early farmhouse videos at the beginning of this channel, I was doing my big once a month grocery hauls and filling this refrigerator, my kitchen refrigerator, and then that little $75 freezer. That's how I've started. And as my kids have grown, and as we've had more children, as our family has grown, I've continued to grow and stretch a little bit each year. Just like I did canning back in the farmhouse, but now these days I'm continuing to grow in my canning skills. So anyway, be looking for the updated pantry video. I hope you enjoyed digging through these freezers. Again, I am proud of us. This is going to help us with our freezer organization. And as we work through different projects in these freezers, we'll fill them with more freezer meals that are ready to go, which I've also been doing on YouTube for 9 years. And you know, I love it when I have those freezer meals. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you real soon with another brand new video. Bye-bye.